Your host, Kahtide.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Kahtide! Coffee with Kahtide, specifically. Hope you're doing well out there today, out there in Streamland. It's me, Kahtide. Oof. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to our show. I'm Kahtide, your host. Thank you for tuning in today. KWK, or Quick, is a show where we discuss the most up-to-date news and popular culture, and where I answer questions, offer advice, and other things like that. So if you're looking for a taste of what's going on in the world, you've come to the right place. Before we get to the show, I always like to shout out my socials so you can connect with me later. You can find me on these lovely social media sites, including Tumblr, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, YouTube, and X/Twitter. Feel free to follow me there. I also encourage you to join our Discord community. The link can be found below on the screen if you're watching live. If you're watching VODs and stuff, it is up on Linktree and shit like that. You can also check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Kahtide. And if you like video game development projects, Salve Development, SALVE development.com. That's my video game project. So go take a look, check it out. It's fun stuff, cool stuff. Probably going to get another Patreon post this year at the end of the year here before December is out. So exciting stuff. Go take a look. Lastly, if you are enjoying the show, consider following and subscribing. I also appreciate contributions made through my Koffee link. That is also on my link tree. Your donations and subscriptions help support this show and all of my creative efforts. Thank you. And with that out of the way, let's get to big news. We got plenty of global news, pop culture, and more on today's show. Lots of stuff popped off this week, so we're going to get into it right now. All right.
It's time for the news. Let's hear it, Kahtide.
Get your coffee cups out, folks. It's time to drink in the fill of news today. Oh boy, lots of stuff went on today. Let's take a look. Oop, I'm phasing in and out of experience here. Okay, let me get my list out here. I always make a little list during the week of things going on, and there's definitely some news. So let's get started with some world news. I'm gonna pull up my screen while I do that. Hoopla. Okay. One big piece of news today, or over this week, actually. Let me get the link for you here. Oh boy. We love the news, don't worry. Here we go. Hungary blocks 50 billion euros of funding for Ukraine. Big news happened out today, this week. Looks like Minister Viktor Orban on Thursday's talks in Brussels said, quote, summary of the night shift, veto for the extra money to Ukraine, according to this BBC article. Right now, Ukraine, as you probably know, is pretty dependent on the EU and the United States for its funding, so it can actually fight against Russia. Unfortunately, this fascistic prime minister in Hungary, Mr. Orban, decided to announce his block when the EU leaders are during the process of the EU leaders discussing membership talks with Ukraine and Moldova, and as well as talking about candidate status for Georgia. A number of countries are trying to get into the EU at this moment, considering the difficult tensions between the EU, Russia, and the United States. Unfortunately, Hungary, which maintains close ties with Russia, this is not true, by the way. Many Hungarians hate Russia. It is just, unfortunately, the political body that seems to like Russia, and it's also very fascistic leadership structure. I know many Hungarians do not like Russia. In fact, many loathe Russia, considering the level of destruction and chaos sown through Hungary thanks to the Soviet Union. But unfortunately, the BBC does not really have this perspective into Hungary that many people do. I've been to Hungary before, and I recognize a lot of what's going on here. Orban is unfortunately a stooge in this case, in my opinion. Here he says he told state radio on Friday that he fought for 8 hours to stop his EU partners, but could not convince them. Ukraine's path to EU membership would be a long process anyway, he said, and Parliament in Budapest could still stop it happening if it wanted to. Yeah, it's unfortunately the case right now that this dickhead is in power, and in many cases, I don't really remember all the specifics on this, but in many cases, Hungary has been unfortunately skewed due to corruption and just legal fuckery to make it so that these disgusting fucking conservative idiot fucks get in office. So that's unfortunately the case right now. As in many, many places across many parts of the world, the vast majority of people do not agree with this decision making and unfortunately are beholden to their disgusting membership or leadership membership. Their political parties, the membership of those political parties is often very corrupt and often does not have their best interest at heart. And this is just more of the same in my opinion. Okay. Of course, Ukraine is not just being discussed in the Hungarian parliament, but of course in the United States, which is also full of disgusting leadership. They are also debating in the United States government whether or not they want to continue to provide an aid package to Ukraine, whether the money is still going to be there. You know, of course, America can print as much money as it wants to because it is. It maintains its own currency and it can just decide how much money it wants to print and send off. And of course, it can just continue to fund Ukraine and any other country's wars, practically speaking. But of course, it's holding that hostage, of course, in many ways, just as Hungary is here holding hostage to a lot of the EU's funding. There's a clip here. Let's see if we have that animated chat. We can watch this clip. Is there going to be any sound? Let's see. Doesn't look like we got any sound on this one. Looks like they don't even have a CC or anything like that, unfortunately. Okay, but apparently the Zelensky is still pretty happy about the EU's announcement of membership. He says this is a victory for Ukraine, a victory for all Europe, victory that motivates, inspires, and strengthens. Ukrainian politician Kira Rudik says, we were really elated following the news about EU membership talks, but she said the feeling is now bittersweet because of the funding being blocked. It is impossible to have a European future without winning the war. Now, I don't know about that necessarily. Again, at this point, I still feel like a ceasefire should be negotiated. I feel like there should be a conversation between Russia, the Western powers, and Ukraine to end the war, to cease the fighting, and to restore or at least normalize relations of some kind. Of course, we likely won't see that anytime soon. But unfortunately, Hungary has decided, at least the leadership at the helm of Hungary has decided to fuck around with the EU and its proposed budgets and the proposed amounts of money that it's supposed to be sending to Ukraine. So sad day, unfortunately, in this case. Hopefully that will change. Another thing that happened recently, let's see here. House Republicans authorize a impeachment hearing for Joe Brandon. Let's take a look here.
The yeas are 221 and the nays are 212. The resolution is adopted.
House Republicans voted to authorize their impeachment inquiry. Of course they are. They're very much in favor of lashing out at anybody that opposes them at this point. Even though they have no fucking evidence, Republicans allege Biden financially benefited from his family's foreign business deals. The only person that benefited from foreign business deals in this case that I've heard about is literally just his son. Literally just Hunter. Hunter literally just went around saying, I'm the president's son or I'm the vice president's son to get, perks and shit. That's about all we have in terms of evidence. Now, I don't like Biden personally. I think he is a fucking husk of a man. I think he should have stepped down before he even ran for president in the first place, personally. But again, this is bullshit. Come on. The Republicans are just upset that their little Trump boy got an impeachment hearing and he got besmirched and he's dealing with all these legal challenges now. And so, of course, they go after the one person that they think they can, which is Biden. It's sad, but it is what it is. Democrats say the GOP have yet to present evidence to warrant an impeachment inquiry. Really? The White House says it has cooperated with Republicans' requests. Of course, I mean, Biden's trying to look like he's playing along. Oh, hang on. Other clip. Biden's trying to look like he's playing along, of course, in this case. He has to look like he's a respectable guy. You know, you can't lash out in this case. Look, Trump obviously disregarded every single rule, every single bit of courtesy that presidents would show, every single bit of restraint that presidents would show. But Biden is not beholden to that kind of behavior. Biden has to represent himself differently, and of course, in this case, the Republicans are going to take advantage of that to try and push this sort of agenda. Let's see if there are any fun quotes here. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer, according to USA Today, told reporters Wednesday that House Republicans' unanimous vote formalizing the impeachment inquiry shows we're united. This is obviously not true. If there's one thing we've seen over the past few months, it's that Republicans are very ununited, especially considering how difficult it was for them to elect a chair over that course of several months. How many votes did they do? How many votes? Wasn't it like 12, 14 votes to get anyone? Didn't they just have to kick out one of their own constituents, George Santos, from the Senate? I don't think this is a time where the Republican Party is showing any kind of unity. Oh boy, let's see what other quotes do we have in this fun article? Here, Joe Biden was not financially involved in his family's business dealings. Exactly how was Joe Biden involved? Comer and Jordan said in this joint statement. These are House Republicans, Comer and Jordan. They are, of course, zeroing in on a key part of Hunter Biden's remarks. Of course, they are focusing here on Hunter Biden because they don't have any evidence on Joe. Whether House Republicans will begin actual impeachment proceedings stretching beyond their initial investigation also isn't clear. House Democrats have called Republican efforts to remove Joe Biden from office inevitable, but some GOP lawmakers from swing districts are keeping their cards close to their chest after improving the inquiry. Of course, because they don't have any evidence and they're in an unpopular position right now. If nothing else, look, I think Joe Biden is a disgusting ghoul. His support for Israel, his unabashed support for Israel over the past 2 months has really, really shown a spotlight on how terrible of a leader he is and how much his staff and his party are propping him up and really just pushing him to do anything right. The fact that the Democratic Party has done anything right at all and has attempted to actually do things like help with union negotiations, for example, is probably only to do with the fact that his staff and his party have been putting pressure on him. This guy is a decrepit bastard, and I hope he rots in hell for everything that he's done. But again, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily his fault here that he's being impeached. It is really just, in my opinion, Republican bullshittery, as always. So that's our next news story here. Let's switch over to something else. Let's see, what else do we have here? Ba-ba-da-ba-doo-ba-ba. Oh, this one's a fun one, actually. This one might actually be kind of semi-fun. More world news. Vladimir Putin, according to Business Insider, was confronted with an AI doppelganger during a rambling 4-hour press conference. Oh boy, I have seen a couple of clips on this. Interesting stuff. So they report Putin was questioned by an AI-generated deepfake of himself in a surreal press conference. The doppelganger asked him if he had any doubles, referenced his use of body doubles to protect himself from assassination. And apparently, a heavily staged phone-in saw Putin refuse to back down over Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, of course. We got a clip here. Let's see here.
Владимир Владимирович, здравствуйте. Я студент и учусь в
The one on the right,
Санкт-Петербургском
fake one, of
государственном
course.
университете.
No
Хочу
translation,
спросить, правда ли, что у вас много двойников? И еще, как вы относитесь к тем опасностям, которые несет в нашу
I want to
жизнь
see if we
искусственный
can find one
интеллект и
that has
нейросети?
translation
Спасибо.
on it. It does look very weird, though, to see this. It apparently one quote here says, "You can talk to me and use my voice, but I figured that only one person could speak like myself, and this is going to be me," said Putin. Let's see. I think I have another link here. Let me try and see if I have another link where we actually get a translation. of what they're saying. I want to see a little bit. Oh, crap. I must get that link. Oh. I'm looking up the Guardian link. Here we go. There. They're going to be a quote. This is going to be translated here. Let's see. Come on. Sorry, the Guardians decided to act up today. Love that. Okay. I don't know if it's going to play my clip. Very sad. Oh, well. Yeah, interesting things. So, apparently, Putin's Putin's body double here. Let me see if I can... here we go. The YouTube clip we can watch instead.
Владимир Владимирович, здравствуйте.
Mr.
Я студент
President,
и
good
учусь
afternoon.
в
I'm a
Санкт-Петербургском
student
государственном университете.
study at the St.
Хочу
Peter
спросить, правда ли, что у вас много двойников?
Institute. Do you have a lot
И
of
еще,
twins?
как вы относитесь к
Do you
тем
have a lot of
опасностям,
twins?
которые несет в
What is your
нашу жизнь
attitude
искусственный
towards
интеллект
the
и нейросети?
dangers fraught with the
Спасибо.
neural networks and the artificial intelligence? So he did not introduce himself, this person from St. Petersburg.
Да.
Oh well,
Oh, well. Okay.
I see.
Вот я смотрю, вы можете быть на меня похожи и говорите моим
You can
голосом.
talk
Но я
like me and use my
подумал и
voice, my
решил,
pitch,
что
but I figured
похожим на себя и говорить моим голосом должен только один
that
человек.
only one person could speak
И этим
like
человеком буду я.
myself and use my voice, and this is
Вот
going to
так
be
один
me.
из наших деятелей шутил когда-то. Вот.
It was a joke by one of our political
Что
figures.
касается искусственного интеллекта,
As regards the AI,
Thanks for
I
watching.
see. It's a joke, of course. Interesting stuff. So, a glimpse into the future, I imagine. As AI technology starts to improve and develop, I imagine we'll see more instances like this, where political leaders are talking to their deepfake doubles, where deepfake doubles come out and start saying crazy shit. I mean, we already see how many memes are on YouTube and shit from people just pretending to be presidents and stuff. There was a whole goddamn 2 months of people just making AI presidents content. Like, oh boy, it's just gonna keep developing, people. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Watch as it develops. Watch as it develops. You'll see. Oh boy, what else do we have on the old news docket? This one was one we touched on last week. It's good. It's interesting to see our the developments as things go on here. But Venezuela and Guyana agree not to use force in the Essequibo dispute. If you were tuned in last week, or if you've been following the updates here, you may know that Guyana recently discovered a large pocket of oil. I think it's the third largest pocket of oil on the planet right now, and currently agreed to a drilling contract with British Petroleum. Of course, Venezuela did not take kindly to that, being one of the largest oil producers in the region and having already had claims on Essequibo. There was talk of possibly violence breaking out. It seems now Venezuela and Guyana have agreed not to use force. After Venezuela organized a referendum to claim the rich oil territory was actually passed. There have been tense talks between the groups. I don't know if they have met. They were planning on meeting to discuss the border dispute. It looks like U.S. is to conduct Guyana flights amid the Venezuela dispute as well, according to Al Jazeera. The U.S., of course, is throwing their weight behind this, unsurprisingly, considering the level of oil at play here. The United States does not have a great relationship with Venezuela, obviously. And wanting wanting to secure that oil for the global market, and especially wanting to allow British Petroleum access to it, makes sense for the United States in the long run, according to its existing political strategy. So it seems they are currently unable to make progress in resolving this dispute. However, a joint commission composed of the foreign ministers of both countries and other officials asked to address the issue and report within 3 months. So we'll see. Hopefully, within this 3-month period, we can hopefully see maybe some tensions decreasing. Honestly, at the end of the day, I don't see anybody coming out of this looking good. Even if Guyana gets most of the oil, they're still going to be beholden to BP. They're still going to be not getting their fair share of the value of that oil. They'll still likely end up losing people to BP as it practices awful business practices as it disregards the safety of its employees in Guyana. I fully expect that oil leaks will be a very likely possibility here. I imagine the environmental toll will be drastic, considering BP's ongoing history of oil spills and lack of enforcement of protecting its like cargo from spills. Um, I think it's only gonna go badly in this case, personally. See if I have any links here, any clips here for us to watch. But yeah, at least there's no. I'm glad there's no bloodshed in that case. I am glad that there's no bloodshed right now. I'm glad that things are a bit more calm than they were initially. I was worried that things were going to break out a bit more soon, a bit more quickly than that. But of course, yes. They both pledged not to use force in bitter dispute over oil-rich region as well, according to CNBC. This dispute, of course, stretches back over a century, so I don't expect this to be resolved any day soon, but who knows? We'll see how things go. We'll see how things go on this front as well. Bringing things back to the United States, some weather-related news. Something pretty drastic happened in Tennessee over the week. Tennessee tornado outbreak. We actually have a video of this, but a man captures the terrifying drive through deadly Clarksville tornado out in Tennessee, according to WKRN.com. Watch that clip.
Police. Dashcam video captures a man's terrifying trip through the middle of a tornado.
The driver, 25-year-old Cameron McNeil, says he was 10 minutes from his home when the 150-mile-per-hour winds hit. So what was it like to drive through this? News 2's Adam Mincer asked him in an interview you'll see only here on News 2.
It was like a scene from a post-apocalyptic movie.
It looked like a storm, and then it turned into something else.
But for Cameron McNeil, it was all too real.
When I saw stuff flying, that's when I was like, oh my goodness, like high winds, probably a tornado.
His dashboard camera capturing the sights, but not the sounds, as he drove through Saturday's deadly tornado in Clarksville.
All that was going through my mind was, I need to get out of here, and I need to keep driving.
And that's exactly what he did, despite power lines exploding, debris hitting his windshield, and cars swerving around him. Why were you on the road then, and why didn't you pull over?
So, I was on the road because I didn't think anything was happening. I didn't pull over because I figured my car, again, it's so light, I figured I would get lifted into an apartment building, something. I just wanted to go back to where I'd been coming from, to where I knew the storm wasn't.
But he was too late. After he turned, familiar landmarks were disappearing around him.
Either from the debris blocking my vision, or they're just being lifted out of the way.
He made it out safely, but his Clarksville apartment has been condemned.
It was lodged right in here.
And he's still sorting through the destruction.
Jesus Christ.
As for the car, Cameron still wants to get it up and running one day.
I don't know if you
has been condemned.
Sorry, I gotta pull back here. Do you see that shit? Look at that fucking hole. Run right up here, and right through the door, right through that. Can you imagine if you were standing near there and that shit flew right through your fucking wall, into you? Ouch! Jesus Christ.
And he's still sorting through the destruction. As for the car, Cameron still wants to get it up and running one day, but it's going to take a little bit of work. As you can see, there's still debris in the wheels, major dents in the front of the car, cracks all throughout the windshield, and it's still missing a side mirror.
This is the fog light.
He says it wasn't his car, his reflexes, or his driving skills that kept him safe. It was his faith.
And honestly, that's the only reason I think I'm still here, is because God was watching over me and said it wasn't my time.
Sorry, obligatory atheist groan. Okay. Anyway, I'm glad he made it out alive, whether it was God or luck. But yeah, my God in heaven, did you see how crazy that storm looked? It was like out of Twister or something. Holy shit. But yeah, a few people ended up dying. It's a really bad storm. Another story actually that came out of this as well. 4-month-old was found alive in a downed tree after the tornado, which was very crazy. I was pretty sure he was dead. Oof. We have a clip on that one as well. I hate ad blockers. It's blocking my clips. Oh well. According to CBS News, a 4-month boy had survived after a tornado in Tennessee, which we just saw, sucked him up from his family's mobile home, which was demolished in the storm. God, can you imagine being a little baby? I'm sorry. Okay, it's obviously horrible and tragic what happened, but can you imagine being a little baby and a storm hits and you just get sucked up into the fucking sky? What the hell? Like, god damn. That is insane. Okay, apparently, Sydney Moore told WSMV TV that when the tornado hit their home in Clarksville, it ripped off the roof and lifted the bassinet with her son inside. Her boyfriend, the child's father, tried to grab the bassinet, but was spun up into the twister as well. Oh my God. He was just holding onto the bassinet the whole time. They went into circles, and he said, and then they got thrown. At about the same time in another room, as the wind howled, Moore decided to jump on top of their other son, who was 1, grab the child as the walls collapsed. They got crushed into the trailer. They managed to push them out, and then they searched for about 10 minutes to look for the younger son and found him lying in a fallen tree in the pouring rain. Apparently, everyone survived. I don't think that the baby had any serious injuries, thankfully, but 3 other victims were killed in the storm, according to this article. Insane stuff. Absolutely insane stuff. Very glad that baby survived as well. Unfortunately, these sorts of horrible storm events are only going to improve, or only going to increase in intensity, I think, as global warming increases, as we continue our dependence on fossil fuels, as we refuse to change our electricity, as we refuse to change our consumer practices. It's really just going to continue. We need to start respecting the environment more. And unfortunately, more and more of these instances are going to happen if we don't do anything about it. But again, I'm glad to hear that they survived. Few people did not, unfortunately. So my thoughts go out to those folks. Let's see. What else? What other news do we have? Let's see. What else do we have? Okay. Related to Israel and Palestine, but also relevant in other parts of the world. Yemen's Houthi rebels have actually been striking container ships in a vital Red Sea corridor. Let's look at this clip here.
There have been a series of maritime attacks claimed by Yemen's Houthi rebels since Israel's war on Hamas and the Gaza Strip has escalated. Now, in the most recent attacks, we've seen them be the worst yet. The U.S. military says that the Houthis launched ballistic missiles targeting 3 commercial vessels in the Red Sea.
Hang on. I got to clarify this. Unguided ballistic missiles. I'm impressed. I got to say, I'm very impressed with this. Unguided ballistic missiles, landing that on a fucking container ship from land is impressive. I have to say. Anyway, just wanted to clarify that point. Let me back up here.
Launched ballistic missiles targeting 3 commercial vessels in the Red Sea, a strategic shipping route. The U.S. military also says one of its warships had to shoot down 3 bomb-carrying drones. It shows just how dangerous the situation has become. Yemen's Houthi rebels have held Sana'a, the capital of Yemen, since 2014, and they've been fighting a Saudi-led coalition that backs Yemen's internationally recognized government since 2015. Now, in the recent years, we've seen a real downtick in the violence in Yemen's war. There's been sort of a truce between the Saudi-led coalition and the Houthis. However, it's been very, very tentative, and there's concerns that this war could break out again, particularly as the Houthis now launch these attacks over the Israel-Hamas war. Meanwhile, there's a wider concern, especially with the United States, because they say that the Houthis have received drones, missiles, and other weaponry from Iran. Iran denies this in part because there's a UN arms embargo on the country since the war began. However, fragments of drones, weapons seized by the U.S. military suggest very strongly that Iran has been supplying these weapons and supporting the Houthis as they launch these attacks.
And as I understand it, this makes sense. Iran has made a commitment to Palestine and has made a commitment to trying to prevent the bloodshed in Palestine. I think it makes sense. Even though there may be an arms embargo in place, I would understand them sharing weapons here in this case with the Houthis. The Houthis are in an excellent position to prevent container ships from arriving in Israel. And if we look at a map here, take a look at a map here. You can see here. Zoom in. We can get a nice view. Yemen's right here. This is the Red Sea, moving up along here. This is the pathway by which Israel gets a lot of its military support right here along this strip of water. Yemen is in the perfect choke point right here to block any container ships. In order to get supplies to Israel, they're going to have to go all the way through the Mediterranean Sea this way in order to get it there. So really, really slowing down shipping. So a very, very strategically apt decision.
Now, there's growing questions inside of the U.S. about how to respond to these Houthi attacks. So far, we've heard very carefully calibrated messages from both the Defense Department as well as the White House, not necessarily acknowledging that their ships were attacked, though these ships have been shooting down hostile drones and missiles in these assaults. Now, in the last 24 hours, we've heard from the White House, and the White House has said that it's considering forming a naval task force with allied nations to potentially escort commercial ships through the Red Sea, the Bab el-Mandeb, and the Gulf of Aden near Yemen. However, there's been no decision made on that yet, and it doesn't necessarily mean that these attacks would stop if these ships are escorted. And all this comes amid the wider concerns about Iran's rapidly advancing nuclear program, meaning that all these risks are still there and the chance for a wider escalation remains.
The Hassanabi doctrine, you know, get nukes. If people claim that you don't have nukes, get nukes as fast as possible. Oh, by the way, ad break incoming. So if you want to avoid that ad break, consider subscribing to the show. You subscribe to Kahtide or to Coffee with Kahtide. It means a whole lot. You're providing dollars to me so that I can provide more coverage to you and more content. So consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Thank you as well. Thank you, everybody. Anyway, ultimately, I don't love the loss of life or the loss of material in this case, but I have to say that I think that the Houthis are making the right decision here, unfortunately, tactically at least. If their commitment is to try and protect their fellow Palestinians, if their commitment is to try and block Israel from sending more supplies or receiving more supplies, and they're trying to starve out Israel's military engine, I think this is the best way to do it. I think it's absolutely the best way to do it, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things go. One thing I saw there was this clip. I wonder if I can find it for you here. There was this clip of Yemenis on one of the container ships partying, and I thought that was just so great. I just thought that was so awesome. Let me see if I can find that for you here. Oh God, I totally saw it too. It was really cool. Oh, I think this is it. Hang on, let me double check. Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, this is a good clip. Here we go. Check this out. Hell yeah, let's watch this. They're turning some of these ships into tourist spots, which I think is awesome. Hell yeah. I just want them to fucking chillax on these cargo ships. This is awesome. This is just flocked to tour seized Galaxy Leader commercial ship. They're just hanging out. See? Oh, hell yeah. They walk on U.S. and Israeli flags on the deck's floor. Fuck yeah. I love that. That's so good. So much respect for this. Yemen's Houthis seize Japanese cargo ship in Red Sea. So much respect. So much respect. Hats off on that one. Hats off. Anyway, let's move on. Let's see what else we have on the old news docket. Speaking of Israel, there have been talks between the United States and Israel about trying to actually reduce some of the bloodshed. One big piece of news that came out recently was that the Israeli military says it mistakenly killed 3 Israeli hostages in battle, torn apart, or in battle-torn part of Gaza. Let's see. Watch some clips here. some Israeli protesters. They are against the latest Israeli-Palestinian war.
We want to save the lives that remain, because every minute that passes by just causes more misery and more pain that will be very, very hard to reverse.
We will only see peace when everybody has equal rights and freedom, and we can't have peace unless this happens. If one people have rights and the other people are oppressed, there won't be justice and there won't be peace.
This is true. Protests in Israel have been ongoing throughout the war. You never hear about these, of course. Never hear about these. Of course, the Israeli government does not want you to see this. Israelis are angry at their government's apparent lack of preparedness in response to the hostage crisis. Other side of this. This is a double-sided sword. This is a double-sided sword. On one hand, the extreme loss of life in Palestine has been staggering. The amount of civilians, children that have been killed during the bombardments, the fact that the vast majority of the bombs dropped are dumb bombs and not smart bombs, not precision-guided bombs. It's disgusting. It leads to a ridiculous amount of bloodshed that is unnecessary and purposely genocidal. And on top of that, you're indiscriminately bombing the areas where hostages may be located, thereby killing hostages. 3 already have been killed that are being confirmed here. They actually did confirm this. I don't have the actual post where they said it here. Let's see here. There may be some quotes where they discuss it here. According to the AP News article here, they may have listed a couple. But let's read here. Israeli troops mistakenly shot 3 hostages to death Friday in a battle-torn neighborhood of Gaza City. An Israeli strike killed a Palestinian journalist in the south of the besieged territory, underscoring the ferocity of Israel's ongoing onslaught. The deaths were announced as a U.S. envoy tried to persuade the Israelis to scale back their campaign sooner rather than later. One thing I've heard Biden say recently is that the time limit on this operation ends on the 1st of January, which is insane. Being able to put a time limit on another country's military operation tells me that you have the ability to stop this immediately. So frankly, he is letting this happen for a certain amount of time when he has the power to stop it immediately. Absolutely disgusting, by the way. Of course, take a look at this, by the way. You can actually see a map here of the scale of Gaza. I feel like some people fail to realize how big Gaza really is. This is Gaza. This little square here, this little red square, you can see my mouse circling around on the screen here if you're watching live. It is probably a 20th the size of Israel proper. And yet, I believe, 17,000 or is it 12,000 people? An insane amount of people have died over the past few months. The level of bombing has been incredible, absolutely incredible. Now, of course, some folks might already know this. I forget the name of the doctrine exactly. I think it's called what is it? What is that called? Oh, I gotta look this up. Hold on. There's a specific doctrine that Israel has where they will kill hostages. What is it called? The Hannibal Directive. That's it. Thank you, Wikipedia. Let's read the Wikipedia article for what the Hannibal Directive is, and then we can decide if perhaps Israel is purposely or accidentally killing hostages. The Hannibal Directive, also known as the Hannibal Procedure or Hannibal Protocol, is the name of a controversial procedure that was used by the IOF until 2016 to prevent the capture of Israeli soldiers by enemy forces. According to one version, it says that the kidnapping must be stopped by all means, even at the price of striking and harming our own forces. It was introduced in 1986 after a number of abductions of IDF soldiers in Lebanon and subsequent controversial prisoner exchanges. So, let's see here. October 7th goes by. The Palestinian freedom fighters capture a large number of Israelis and keep them as hostages. Israel does not like this. Israel already has a directive that it has used in the past where it gives itself permission to kill hostages, to kill captives, to prevent any kind of a discussion between themselves and the opposing belligerent force with regards to prisoner swaps or exchanges. Now, if that has already been in place in the past, and you have a large number of hostages, and you are an apartheid state who has cornered a large population of people in one tiny corner of the country where they cannot escape. And now you have decided to undertake a ground offensive and bombing campaign that is causing extreme loss of life. You don't. If I were in their shoes, I would not want any advantage to fall to my enemy. And in this case, hostages are an advantage. So, my belief, and this is just a belief, of course, and they may bear out that I'm incorrect on this, and history may tell this differently. But my belief is that they are unhappy that hostages are behind enemy lines, and they don't want to deal with them anymore. And they do not want to have to go in and rescue them. Instead, they want to use this as a pretext for genocide, for clearing the land, for destroying any semblance of any Palestinian state, to wipe out any Palestinians that refuse to leave and force out the rest into the wastes, wherever they might end up. They don't care. I think this is really just a pretext. They don't care about these hostages outside of using them as an excuse to carpet bomb the what remains of Gaza. It's frankly disgusting. And yeah, my opinion personally is that this is purely Israel's attempt to cover up. I mean, there's already been several interviews that have gone out. I think one, there's an elderly woman I remember watching. I could probably pull up that clip if I needed to, where she discusses that she was treated quite kindly by her captors. That frankly, the only times that she felt unsafe were during IOF operations, where bombings were taking place, where soldiers were around and shooting. This has been borne out by a number of other hostages that have been released. There are many who are completely furious with Netanyahu's government, and believe that they were targeted. I mean, there was more than enough evidence to point to Israel having been responsible for many of the deaths during October 7th, particularly at that music festival, where a number of helicopters had actually arrived and started opening fire indiscriminately without actually checking if they were targeting Hamas fighters or if they were targeting possible concert goers and hostages. Frankly, here I can even pull up this article here just to back it up. Israel actually cut up a bunch of the cars. Let's see here. Festival. I'm sure there's an article here. Hang on. I know it's here. I read it recently. Oh God, I will have to find this. I remember seeing an article recently where they actually talk about cutting up the cars and burying them as a sign of respect. Oh God, where is this? Oh, I know it's here somewhere. Okay. If I can find it, I'll try and find it later for folks. It might be relevant to people who want to check it out, but I definitely saw an article in the past. There's been so many articles about Israel and Palestine lately that it's probably tough to find them. But I have heard about that being the case, and I would not be surprised if there were worse offenses. Frankly, I don't feel like Israel cares about its population. I think Israel thinks of its population as a source of military fodder. And of course, all that will result in is more death and destruction, the loss of life both amongst the Palestinians and amongst the Israelis themselves. Really tragic, awful situation all around. And I can only hope that something will happen over this weekend. Some sort of resolution will start to pass here. We can start to get a ceasefire going. There needs to be something because this is unacceptable. Anyway, enough of that rant. It's time for us to move on to something a bit lighter. So we're going to switch gears now, and we're going to hop on over to our pop culture segment. Let's see some fun stuff, shall we? Huh? What do we think, big booming voice? What do you think?
Popular Culture Barometer. It's time for the weather report.
That's right, folks. It's time for our pop culture segment where we discuss stream news, entertainment, celebrities, all kinds of stuff like that. Whatever you feel like. So let's see what's going on today, shall we? One big piece of news that's related to what we were just talking about, and that probably everyone's talking about at this point. Ye is back in the headlines. He has been making anti-Semitic remarks, ranting about Hitler, Trump, and co-parenting in his latest tirade, as reported by NBC News here. According to them, at other points in the footage, Ye told people in the crowd to shut up when they tried to speak over him and threatened to kick someone out of the room. I watched this clip. It was fucking crazy. We're probably not going to see the whole thing, but I'm going to play a little bit of it for you. But yeah, he apparently went the fuck off. Let's pull up a clip here. I want you to see just how insane this shit is. Unfortunately, the clip I found was on Jerusalem Post, so bear that in mind. But let's take a look here. Also, take a look. Oh my god, he's got some fucking Nordic ruin ass shit carved into the side of his head. My god, buddy. My god. Let's watch this clip.
No, none of y'all motherfuckers here with no Instagram, nobody living, nobody at, and I don't want to hear shit from none of these Jewish niggas talking about, oh, he's in an episode. Harley Pasternak followed me to the fucking hotel. The nigga killed Aaron Carter, and now they acting like they won't clear the Backstreet Boys sound.
I don't understand what he's talking about here. He apparently says that the Jews have killed Aaron Carter, which I think is fucking insane. I don't know where that's coming from, but okay. Let's continue.
You get what I'm saying? Harley Pasternak, pusher. Your trainer. Harley Pasternak, Jay-Z. You get what I'm saying? And then niggas be hanging around these niggas just for the money or some Mike Rubin shit. I slap the shit out of Mike Rubin. I see that nigga there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, fuck these niggas, bro. Fuck these niggas, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my Farrakhan Don shit right now, bro. Because guess what? These Yeezys gonna sell. They sabotaged the show today. They sabotaged the Instagram. They cut off the fucking Adidas contract. They did all the shit. Then they want to go get Light Skin Ye. You gotta understand. That's Jerry. His real name is Light Skin Ye, bro.
Oh my god. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. Let's see what else he's saying.
Say me shit. Nigga, I'm by myself in this motherfucking room, nigga. Everybody shut the fuck up. Hey, shut the fuck up. Let me tell you something right now. Just the fact that you ain't listening to me, ain't none of y'all niggas with me. I'm by my fucking self. Because ain't none of y'all niggas stand up for me. Ain't nobody stop. Shut up. Be quiet before you get exiled. Like you know what I'm saying is.
Be quiet before you get exiled. Bro, he's off the shits, man. I gotta say this. He's fucking off the shits here. He's talking about crazy ass conspiracy theories. At a certain point, he starts talking about how his lawyer said that he wasn't going to keep his kids if he kept going off on all this anti-Semitic remark shit. God, I want to find if I can find a part where he starts talking about Zionists and shit. I think it's sort of back here.
Pyramids, nigga. It's pyramids in St. Louis and nigga, Missouri. They stole it. All the shit. America just the latest bitch that been ran through so many times. The Greeks hit her. Mansa Musa hit her. We had her. The Indians and shit. The motherfucking pilgrims. It's the Jewish niggas. They dress the same, nigga. It's the same shit. That's the story. They put us in the school. The Rothschilds. They did that. I know Jay-Z back here like, oh, this nigga gonna die now. I've been here for a year, my nigga. Yeah. They can't fucking touch me. Why? Because God covered me. He covered me. And guess what, Trump? We ain't giving you support unless you get Larry out. Unless you get Jeff out. You understand what I'm saying? Because y'all niggas, y'all politicians think y'all gonna just get our shit for free. Oh, all of a sudden, nigga, because you got a mugshot, you with us now? No, nigga.
Yeesh. Anyway, crazy shit. Lots of crazy shit. Very, very crazy. Yeah, he's going all off. He's talking about, what is he talking about? A lot of disjointed conspiracies. Who got the hospitals? These Zionist blanks. Jesus Christ, Hitler, yay. Third party sponsor that. Bring your sponsorships to that. He says, I don't give a fuck. N-words. I don't give a fuck about a life or death. I got visitation with my kids. I ain't got no say so. And apparently he's talking about his kids being stuck at a Zionist school. Really, really, really awful stuff to be saying. My opinion here, connecting back to the last news article that we were discussing about Israel and Palestine and shit like this. One of the unfortunate consequences, I think, about this conflict is that it really does set the conversation about anti-Semitism back so far, unfortunately. Zionists, one of the really awful things about Zionism in Israel is that they, in my understanding, is that they tend to try and lump every single Jew across the world into Israel. They say we represent all of the Jews across the planet. We're the homeland of the Jews. Everything we say goes. So when Israel starts doing things like bombing Palestine, killing people indiscriminately like this, this just unfortunately adds fuel to anti-Semitic rhetoric. They get to say things like, "Oh, look at how they're killing Palestinians." Not much of a stretch to assume that they're killing white people too, or black people too. Not much of a stretch to assume that they maybe are in control of other things. Blah blah blah, etc. etc. Easy. It's very easy to it's very easy to throw fuel on the fire, you could say, and frankly, it's really disgusting. I think Kanye is one, very mentally unwell. Two, still responsible for his words. Frankly, he is still responsible for his words. No matter what his mental illness state is, it's disgusting what he's saying. He's going off on a rant. He feels empowered because of the current situation, and it's just going to unfortunately, stoke a lot of people who feel the same and want to take advantage of the situation. So, really, really awful stuff. I'm really sad to see that he's back in the news. I kind of hope that he would have faded away and started to get some help for himself and maybe came back after he realized his mistakes. But no, I don't think so. He's really doubling down. I mean, you could even see in the clip, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but he was wearing some fucking like double eagle German flag shit. Really awful stuff. Really, really, really awful stuff. So, gotta say, really disappointed to hear that this is going on, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to probably see a lot more of it as people feel emboldened to speak their mind about this issue. But yeah, wanted to touch on that. Other big news topic in terms of pop culture that I wanted to touch on. A little lighter. E3 has officially announced that it is no longer happening. E3 has died, according to IGN. Let's see if I have a clip on that as well. A GameIndustry.biz article as well. I might have a clip here. Blah, blah. I want your cookies. Was it announced yesterday? Do they have a clip where they announce it? I don't think they announced it via clip, but I'll read it out anyway. According to the IGN article here by Kat Bailey, the Electronic Entertainment Expo was finally taken off life support earlier today. This was on the 12th. Its epitaph being a brief statement reading: after more than 2 decades of E3, each one bigger than the last, the time has come to say goodbye. Thanks for the memories. Of course, we get a lovely PNG with text on it. So great, so great. Obviously, this is something that's been in the works for a while. Things kind of started to unravel around 2019, since PlayStation and Sony ended up kind of pulling their kind of statements and their like press conference announcement shit that they tended to do. Oh God, I forgot about this. This article actually does remind me of something. That same year, E3 accidentally leaked a document containing the address and phone numbers of show attendees, effectively doxing a large portion of the games industry. I forgot that happened, but oh my God, yes, that did happen. Thousands and thousands of names got leaked for people. I can only imagine the kind of damage that caused. But yeah, awful, absolutely awful. It's been going on since, I think, what is it? 2007. Looks like it started off. Was that really the case? E3 business 2007 being shown in an old hangar in Santa Monica. Okay, but anyway, yeah, it's been a long time since anyone's really talked about E3. Here's a quote: "The people that came in seemed to not understand the significance of the show, despite how much revenue it generated for the organization." There was definitely a lot of issues during the pandemic. I remember that being the case. They did a 2021 showcase that canceled in 2022. And then there were some rumors after 2022 that they were simply not going to be continuing after that they didn't have the expertise to put on the show with some of their new their new ownership, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. There's a significant change in leadership at the ESA around 2019. People that came in seemed to not understand the significance of the show. That's what we read here, according to who's this, Kramer? I haven't read this entire article. But yeah, unsurprising. I think at this point it's safe to say that the in-person events that the ESA might have hosted in the past, frankly, any of these real big conventions for video games are probably not going to see the same kind of audience excitement that they used to generate. We live in the internet era. We live in the social media era. We live in the era of Nintendo Directs. I mean, the Xbox and PlayStation already have their own kind of direct, news information outlet kind of situations where they discuss upcoming games and stuff. Nintendo has been doing that for ages. It's a dying thing. This is a sort of a dying thing. And on the one hand, it's sort of sad. It's nice to have these sorts of like big events that people can go to and check out. And I love cons personally. I used to go to cons all the time. Cons were a big thing for me, and getting to see artists and vendors and visiting with friends and cosplaying and doing all kinds of fun stuff used to be like really awesome. But I think we all knew at a certain point that E3 stopped being about the fans. I mean, it was never really about the fans. It was kind of really just for the industry. But people people who were fans of video games wanted to go anyway. And at a certain point, it just got too big, got too popular, not enough to show off. Obviously there's a lot of issues when you start to get too big for your britches. Any convention hoster, any convention team will tell you that if you get too many people, too much money involved, it can start to get a little bit dicey in certain places. And you have to really kind of grab the reins and hold them tightly when you're managing these events. And if there's a new team coming in without expertise, not surprised that things are going to collapse like that pretty quickly. So yeah, shame to say it, but E3 is dead. So sad to say it, very sad to say it. We're gonna have to move on, and I guess just wait to hear announcements over social media. Sad times, but things change. We move on. We grow as people. We grow as an industry. I can only hope, frankly, that the industry itself changes. It's way too much about AAA at this point and big announcements. Part of the other reason I think that this sort of E3 event died is that video game companies just don't want to spend the money on these big showy displays when they can just pump out games and get people hyped for it online, without having to actually do anything in person. The industry has just really changed, and I think E3 just couldn't change with it in time. So there we go. Rest in peace, or rest in piss, depending on your opinion here. Speaking of video game news, let's keep it up here. We got another piece of news here. More sadness, of course. Naughty Dog cancels development on The Last of Us Online. According to Engadget, the developer has chosen to focus on single-player narrative games. Now, I'm not a Last of Us fan. I've never played Last of Us. Not my thing. I always thought it seemed a little bit too, I don't know. It seemed to be wanting to be a movie. And I don't really care for games that are leaning on that cinematic aspect. Personally, it's not my game, not my bit. I like games that feel like games, not movies, personally. But lots of people love these games, and they've gotten people into gaming. So I can't really knock The Last of Us too much. However, I can definitely knock Naughty Dog here. They apparently here they have made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development. Let's see here. They gave us a sneak peek of concept art in 2022, but didn't offer very much in terms of updates on the project. Looks like after the PlayStation Showcase in May, it admitted that it knows fans of the franchise are looking forward to hearing more about the game, that it realized that it needed more time to work on it and couldn't share details just yet. I'm not surprised that they're canceling this sort of thing. One, if I know anything about The Last of Us, it is definitely a single player narrative experience and not an online experience. The other thing I think probably makes sense is didn't something just come out that was kind of chomping that flavor the day before? Oh yeah, baby, the day before just came out. Big scam, very poorly rated, super duper riffing on The Last of Us format, but it was made multiplayer. Now, I don't know if there's any connection between the two games, but I would not be surprised if Naughty Dog saw the day before. Saw the very poor reception on that multiplayer format, and the obviously there wasn't much polish in that game, of course, if you have seen any clips of the day before. But I'm sure they saw that and decided, maybe we don't want to associate our very, very popular franchise with this crap that is riffing off of our project. Maybe we want to avoid that in the future. So maybe this is all just speculation at this point, but I would not be surprised if that played some part of a role. Unfortunately, of course, these cancellations again mean that most likely the people developing the game or working on the concept art or working on any of the background for The Last of Us Online probably ended up getting fired or sent to other projects. Their work wasted and carved up or put into a vault somewhere. Of course, developers never get to hold on to their work or really develop the ideas that they want to develop and flesh them out. It's always up to the corporate interests in the companies that run this shit. So sad times. My heart goes out to the development team for this game. I hope that they are not getting fired. I hope that they get to work on other projects. And overall, I hope that they leave Naughty Dog and go find something else to do. Start their own company or something like that, because y'all, you cannot trust these AAA fucks. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if it's Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft or Naughty Dog or Ubisoft or any of them. Fucking even some of the indie developers and publishers have fucked up big time and taken a lot of work. I mean, this is not even related to any of the news articles I'm talking about, but Omori drama. Did anybody hear about the Omori drama, Twitter drama? Somebody recently brought this up, but apparently, let's see, what is the drama here? There's some drama about Omori a few months ago. Swordfish Unlikely 745 on Reddit says that caused Omori to trend on Twitter for bad reasons. The reason fans of Minecraft okay, not that. Something else. What was the fucking controversy? Here it is, melon drama. Thank you. Sportskeeda is reporting on this one. Here we are. The main developer of Omori has been accused of mistreating her staff and developers on the development of Omori. These accusations include overworking at least one employee and underpaying multiple employees. There's actually allegations here as well. Omocat is the developer here, by the way. Yeah. Pretty awful stuff. I don't know if it's accurate or not, unfortunately. I haven't really followed up more on this. I have seen Omocat before. I've actually been at, speaking of cons, I've been at Omocat's booth before. I own a shirt of theirs, actually. Hilariously enough. I played Omori. But, even developers like this, even, small-time developers can do shit like this, where they fuck their teams over, they fuck people over. Get out of that shit if you're involved in it. If you can, don't sign up to work for any of these third-party developers, any of these AAA developers or publishers. Just get out of it. Get into a union if you can, please. The video game union, I think, is still around, if I'm not mistaken. Get into a union. Get organized. We can't let this shit happen anymore. Let me see here. Video game union. Is that still up? Game Workers Unite. There we go. Game Workers Unite. Go check that out. See if you can help out with that. If you're interested in game development, it's near and dear to my heart. I'm a game developer. I would not brook this shit. I work hard for my games. I know how many hours I put into making my games, and I would never brook the kind of treatment that these disgusting companies dole out to their teams. They do not respect the work or the effort or the labor that goes into this. They crunch people. They destroy people's lives if they speak up. They blacklist people from the industry. It's awful. It's fucking awful. So avoid it. Do your own work. Stop. If you can help it, if you can get the funding for it, if you can get support for it, if you can get off having to take a salary from these people, and if you can find some way to support yourself, whether that's online or doing something else to fund your efforts, I encourage it. Obviously, some people have to make ends meet. They need to get this money. They need to get the bag so they can survive, and I have all the respect for them. No shame, no hate on anybody who works for these companies. In terms of the development team, in terms of people working on it, QA testers as well. Shouts out to all the fucking QA testers out there who fucking get the raw end of the deal from these dickhead companies. Super duper shouts out to them. I always think about you people out there doing God's work and finding all these bugs for us. They never pay you people enough. They never do. So shouts out to you. Seriously, we got to do something about this video game industry shit. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. Anyway, enough ranting. Time to move on here. Let's see. Oh, this one's an interesting one. Let's see here. This one's gone pretty viral lately, so I think it's only fair that I hit this topic as well. Let's see here. Bring this one up here. GamingBible.com is reporting topless Twitch streamer banned from platform after backlash. Now, I don't know if you have heard about this recent situation, but Twitch changed its user guidelines, its streaming guidelines for a little bit, and then went right back on them for a bit. Artistic nudity had been effectively made allowable on the stream, as long as it was as long as it was non-sexual. And Morgpie here, one of the streamers, was actually kind of the face of it for a little bit. I'm not going to show any clips here because there's some pretty serious, pretty sussy clips, of course. But I will discuss the news about it. A lot of people, as soon as this kind of change went up, apparently posted a lot of like lewd art and things like that. There was some the clip I saw. There was some. It looked like Morgpie had no shirt on, and was had the camera so that the frame was just over the nipples, so you couldn't see the nipples at all. And there was some jiggling and stuff moving around. What I remember hearing in another article was that she actually had a shirt on the whole time. She had a tube top on, so there was no nudity at all going on. It was just simulated nudity. But apparently, she even got banned on this one, or got kicked. Got banned for this encounter here. Very sad. I think she managed to get back on stream. I think the ban didn't last very long, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to double check that, but still, a lot of people apparently got hit with this. A lot of creators ended up getting flagged for this sort of shit. I mean, frankly, I don't think that this is worthwhile. I don't think that this is like worth banning anybody for. I think if you're clarifying your artistic nudity guidelines and people are using that to express themselves, I don't have a problem with that personally, as long as it's marked 18 plus. I think it's fine. Like, I think people who freaked out about this a bit are either chasing drama or are prudish, in my opinion. Let's see here. Morgpie caused a social media meltdown by appearing to stream topless. Doesn't leave much to the imagination that Morgpie was topless, although she never actually bared all on stream. Revealing your nips on stream is against Twitch rules. Sure, Morgpie wasn't technically breaking new Twitch rules, as she was technically bending them, but that never stopped the masses from calling her to be banned from the platform. Of course, there's a lot of people out there on Twitch, a lot of dumbasses who see a good thing and decide, I'm going to shit on that. So, sad to say, this rule change quickly got reversed. Of course, nudity is not, or simulated nudity is not really being permitted here. Shouts out to Morgpie. I think you did a great job out there. I think sex workers are awesome. I think we should support sex workers. I think that this is really just disgusting. A lot of fucking idiot incels are probably frothing at the mouth here unnecessarily. I think it's great. Get your money, girl. Get your money up. This is awesome. I think she's on OnlyFans, if I'm not mistaken. So hey, go support her on OnlyFans if you do that sort of thing. That's my shout out here. I think it's awesome. We should have more nudity online. I think the prudishness that we've encountered over the past decade has been fueled by one, really awful people that are very sex negative, and two, fueled by corporations and advertisers who do not want to have boobies and butts and peepees and pussies and shit all over their fucking content. And you know what I say to that? I say more boobies, more pussy, more peepees, more dicks, more everything. I hate how fucking corporate the internet has gotten personally. I hate it. If what we need to do to end this fucking corporate creep is add more fucking dicks and butts and pussies and shit everywhere, let's do it, because I can't stand it. I don't give a fuck. You know what? Non-sexual nudity is not a problem. Non-sexual nudity is not bad, in my opinion. Non-sexual nudity is normal. Everyone has a body. Everyone gets naked. Everyone sees their junk. Everyone sees their butt. Everyone has seen naked babies. Everyone has seen naked sculptures and naked paintings. Everyone can, if you merely have to type like boobs into fucking Google to find naked boobs. They're on Wikipedia. There's fucking science books, textbooks that have nude bodies in them. Come on. Like, at this point, it's not bad to be naked. It's not bad to be naked. It's not wrong to be naked. It's not morally wrong to be naked. It's a very, very puritanical outlook, and I think that we should have more nudity online. I think Twitch should allow nudity on its 18 plus streams, frankly. I just think that's the case. And maybe people disagree with me on that. Whatever. I don't care. People are frankly, in my opinion, tend to use this argument of like, no nudity. Oh, we don't want sex for our kids, you know, blah blah. They're grooming children. This shit is coming from projection, because a lot of people project the kind of shit that they're uncomfortable with, or that they grow, that, you know, they're projecting their own feelings onto the situation and making people that are acting reasonably out to be monsters and villains. And also a lot of people cover up their own bad behavior by pointing to somebody else and saying that person's evil and a groomer and a pervert. When let's be real, how many goddamn fucking conservatives get found out for being pedophiles, for trafficking, for prostitution, for having gay sex on the fucking Senate, like in the Senate room here, like I don't know if you heard about that. There was a video that leaked about a Senate hearing room that was the scene of a impromptu gay porno, because some congressional staffers filmed that. By the way, I love that. No hate on that one. I love that went viral. Good job, y'all. I'm glad you had sex in the Senate. But still, my point is that the people that talk the loudest about this are the people that are the most suspect, in my opinion. I think nudity's fine. We all have a body. We all get naked. There's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, that's my take on that. And with that, I do need to take a quick bathroom break. So thank you everyone who's tuned into the broadcast so far. And thank you as well for everybody listening on Spotify and watching the VOD on YouTube. Always appreciate your patronage. I will be right back after a very brief break. We'll talk about a bit more pop culture news and then hop into questions. So stay tuned and be right with you. And one last thing before we go, big booming voice. What do we always tell everybody before the bathroom break?
This is the big booming voice letting you know to follow and subscribe to Kahtide.
Thank you, big booming voice. Be right back, y'all. We're back, folks. Thanks for sticking around on Coffee with Kahtide. Hope you're doing well today on this lovely Sunday. We're finishing up with a little bit more pop culture news, and then we're going to move on to questions. So we have time for like maybe one or two more stories, and one I did want to touch on here is a pretty crazy one. I don't know if anyone else has been covering this yet, but Michael B. Jordan, famous celebrity, has actually been captured on footage losing control of his $400,000 Ferrari, crashing it into a parked Kia SUV while driving alongside another supercar in Hollywood. It sounds like they may have been racing, from what I was told. It looks like it happened on the 15th at around 11:30 p.m. It happened on December 2nd. I apologize. The news article came out on the 15th. But yeah, it's reported here, Michael was annoyed that he ruined his car, but that can get fixed. He was and is embarrassed about it all, as he accidentally had his foot on the gas and didn't brake in time. It looks like it was called an actual accident, according to an insider that told DailyMail.com earlier this month. Happened right outside of Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. He was driving an 812 Superfast.
Ain't nothing changed me, baby. I've been this way for years.
Oh shit! Oh, there you go. See that? Oh my god!
No paper trail. Ain't nothing changed me, baby. I've been this way for.
Mute this because it's just music. Oof! Wow! Big slam, big side slam right there. Jesus Christ!
Mentor, man, for real. Just a push. It's all love.
I think this is him afterwards.
Always. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you,
All right, see you guys.
You and Solomon going to be working on a song together?
Jeez, absolutely awful. Crazy stuff. Look at the wreckage here, by the way. This is that Kia right there, completely mangled on the side there. Glad no one was trying to get into that car. Glad no one was there on the side of the road getting hit. Really crazy stuff. Wonder what exactly happened there. Apparently he hit a Kia Niro SUV, which cost less than a tenth of what Jordan's supercar retails for. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So yeah, that happened. Let's see. Anything else I really want to cover? Oh yeah. This one's one. Another bit of sad news, unfortunately, but one for folks to check out. Andre Braugher, star of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, has actually passed on, unfortunately. He died on Monday at the age of 61. It looks, if I'm not mistaken, I think he died of lung cancer. If I'm not. Here we go. We got the article here from CNN. There we go. Andre Braugher diagnosed with lung cancer months before death, unfortunately. Let's see if we have a clip here.
Interesting. You know what else is interesting? Grenades.
Actor Andre Braugher died on Monday at the age of 61. Braugher won an Emmy for the drama Homicide, Life on the Street, but showed off his comedic chops on the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
What's your handle? I'll be your first follower.
It's at 526-1796-D6E6-420-486-F6C74. It spells Raymond Holt in hexadecimal code. Clever, right?
Captain, are you sure you wouldn't like some help with this?
Oh, no need. Now, for my first tweet, I think I should give an update on the water main break that's actually informative. NYC H2O-main sitrep : at 2040 EDT, current PSI 456, max cap 204000 LPM. Suck on that tasty lemon drop.
Braugher's publicist said he died of a brief illness, but didn't elaborate further.
It's 9 a.m. Why is no one working?
Amy Santiago is a few minutes late, and we're all trying to guess why.
I like to play. I'd say she's in line at the bank.
There she is, Amy. Where have you been? We've been worried sick. Do you care to explain yourself?
I'm just 70 seconds late. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it.
Santiago, you will tell us, and you will tell us now.
There's a problem at the bank.
Hot damn!
Okay. As much as I hate propaganda, I do think Brooklyn Nine-Nine was pretty funny, and Andre was a really funny guy too. Honestly, it's sad to hear that he died. It's really funny. Really entertaining stuff. Terry Crews says, "I am honored to have known you, laughed with you, worked with you, and shared 8 glorious years watching your irreplaceable talent." And then Viola Davis says, "Heartbreaking. You went way too soon. I loved every minute of working with you, your talent, your bottomless heart, your love of your family, your wife, You're a great man. God bless your children, your beautiful wife. You will be missed, Andre. Yeah, it's always sad to see a really good actor die. He was really funny. I did enjoy his work a lot. So, rest in peace, Andre. Hope things go well for you in the afterlife. Sad to say it. Sad to say it. Well, in that case, folks, I think it's a good time for us to transition over to our last segment for the show, which is our questions with Kahtide segment. I love if you want to submit some questions, you're always welcome to do so through the chat. You can submit via channel points. The channel points are down there at the bottom of the screen. They are called chips, so you can spend those as well if you are live. If you're not live, or if you want to submit anonymously, there is a link in my link tree for the anonymous Google form, which we can also tap into. I don't have any current questions right now from any of our audience members, but I'm happy to answer a few anonymous questions and see if we can get some advice out there for some folks. So let's see here. Let me get set up and switch over. What do we think about that big booming voice? What time is it?
You've got questions, we've got answers. Tell them, Kahtide.
Thank you. All right, moving on to questions with Kahtide. Questions with Kahtide, of course, as previously mentioned, is where I take questions from the chat anonymously or directly from the chat, and I answer advice and advice questions and just general questions as well about the stream and about the show and about other things. So if you want my take, if you want my opinion on stuff, if you have questions about life, love, work, anything like that, send them on. And of course, remember, please don't submit bigoted or distasteful questions, or you will face my wrath, i.e., I will just delete your question, or I will ban you, if you're asking this live. So be cool, be chill, and let's get started. All right. So moving on, let's see here. Good questions. Checking out questions. In light of the past couple decades, would you consider yourself a techno-optimist or a techno-pessimist? Why? Good question. Thank you for the anonymous question asker. I would say, personally, I feel kind of of two minds of this one. I'm kind of both. I'm kind of a techno-realist, I would say, in this case. On the one hand, I obviously see how much good technology has done for humankind. I mean, we have vehicles to allow us to travel across the entire planet. We can go from corner to corner of the globe. We can bring people together into a smaller and a world where everyone can connect and share their opinions and voice. We have incredible technology to farm and raise food and to manufacture incredible technologies and parts and machinery for everybody. And also, on the other hand, I still see that a lot of the ability to make change, to manufacture products, to create food, to share water, to give people entertainment and connection is all kind of held in the hands of a few people and a few companies. So, frankly, I would say the technology I'm optimistic about. It's the people I'm not optimistic about. It's the people in charge of the technology that I'm not optimistic about. Like, do I think it's great that we have like efficient cars and we're getting like electric batteries and stuff like that, and we're trying to reduce our reliance on oil? Yes. But the companies that are engaging in that practice are not to be trusted. I don't trust Tesla, for example. Tesla's always been banking on its electric car, projects, and it's self-driving projects, and yet how many mistakes, how many errors, how many deaths, how many crashes have happened because of these fools, because they are attempting to use untested technology and not really considering the safety ramifications of what they're putting out into the world. I don't trust the people. I trust the technology when it's well built. I trust the concepts behind technology, but I don't trust the people behind the technology. And I really think that a sea change needs to happen with humanity. I think that a lot of people need to recognize the relationship to technology and how it's used before we can really achieve any kind of techno optimism. You know, I hope that helped answer. Hope that clarifies. Thank you for the question, anonymous question asker. Let's see what else we have here. Another question. What inspired you to start the channel? Another anonymous question here. Thank you, anonymous question submitter. I would say there's a few things that inspired me to start the channel. On the first thing that, and the most important thing I think that helps me to inspire the channel, is that I was a big I'm a video game developer first and foremost. I think that's what I really consider myself to be first and foremost, is a video game developer. And I recognize that in order to get my project out there in front of the most eyeballs, I needed to have a more public presence, and I needed to be able to share myself out there. And so I decided that one way to do so that would be very effective would be to be a streamer and just stream content and stuff like this, to play other games, to give my commentary on how games work, on what I like about games, and eventually that kind of morphed into like giving my thoughts and opinions on things, like here in Coffee with Kahtide. You know, that's why I talk about news, I talk about pop culture, why I answer these questions and offer advice, is so that I can try and offer my opinion of how things are, offer my perspective, and to share my creative side with the world, I think. Obviously, I also watched a lot of streamers prior to this. I watched a lot of JSchlatt, for example. JSchlatt was a big influence. My friend Sordior, who I will try to get here for an interview soon. Sordior is a streamer who I also look up to. He's been streaming pretty consistently for years now, and has his own following and has people who really tune in and stuff. And I think that's really awesome. I personally really love the community that Sordior cultivated, and I think that's part of my inspiration as well. But yeah, mostly it was like other people trying to do it around me, and also wanting to get the word out there for my own work, because I am really creative. I feel like I kind of have to make something every day. I have to work on something every day. I have to draw, paint, make music, make art, make content, something. I have to do something every day, and so this is kind of one of those outlets as well, is just to make content for people, even if not that many people see it, even if it's just a few folks who get to enjoy the streams and check out the VODs and stuff. I still see you, and I'm glad that you're tuning in. So it's for me, and it's also for you, I would say. So that's my question. That's my answer for that question. Hope you enjoy that. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? What's in store for this channel? Any big plans for the future? I would say one big plan I have for the future is I want to make some videos. I feel like getting some videos out there, like essays or kind of like just like, I don't know, compilations of content and stuff, and getting videos out there for YouTube is really going to be the next big step. I just have to find time to do it. That might be this week, actually. I was considering, because it's the holidays, taking this weekend off, this coming weekend off. No news, no streams, no nothing like that. Just recording, doing some recording for a video, putting a video together and putting that out on YouTube, seeing how that flows. That's kind of the next step, really. I want to get more content out there. The streams are great, but I want more people to see them. And in order to do that, building an audience on YouTube is kind of the way forward here. I've just kind of been dragging my feet, unfortunately. It is just what it is. I have been dragging my feet a bit on doing that, because I spend time streaming and I spend time working on my game dev projects, and I work a full-time 40-hour job, and I've got people at home that I'm hanging out with and doing stuff with, and chores to do. You know how it is. There's always something going on. So hopefully I might actually get some time coming up here to do some recording, put out a new video for people to check out. I'm thinking about maybe doing like Gmod deep dives, trying to see what the community, like the weirdo communities on Gmod are like, maybe snooping around, listening to stuff, building interesting contraptions to fuck with people. We'll see. I haven't really fleshed it out. It's kind of going to be a loosey-goosey kind of project, most likely, if I do end up doing it. But yeah, that's kind of going to be the next step. Also, weird non sequitur I'm going to give you here, but for some reason, I don't know why, but while I'm having this conversation with y'all, I just had the strongest whiff in my You ever have like your mind's eye, but it's your mind's nose, and you just think of a smell? You like think of the smell, and you can almost smell it in your nose when you think about it. I just had that moment just a moment ago. I was answering this question, and I just got the strongest whiff of like old bowling alley carpet. I don't know why, but I just hit me like a truck. Anyway, thank you for your question, anonymous submitter. I hope that helps answer. Let's see what else we've got here. What is your biggest pet peeve with modern gaming? Thank you for the other anonymous question. Really appreciate that. Sorry, gonna have a coffee sip here. 1 second. Thank you for your question, anonymous submitter. Biggest pet peeve in modern gaming. Oh God, microtransactions. Microtransactions are my least favorite thing on the planet. Oh shit, we just got hit with an ad break. Sorry, folks. I would have let you know about the ad break, but it snuck up on me. If you want to avoid the ad breaks in the future, though, consider subscribing to the channel. That's right, subscribe. Anyway, we'll wait for another 10 seconds while we wait for this ad to end, and then we will. I will answer that question for you. Biggest pet peeve with modern gaming is definitely microtransactions, though. Welcome back from the ad. Thank you so much. Hope it wasn't nasty. Anyway, question is, biggest pet peeve with modern gaming. It's microtransactions for me. I remember growing up, I remember what it was like when you could just go to the store and buy a game, and that was the game. And that's all you got. You know, you go and you buy your PS1 game, you buy Gran Turismo, and you pop it in your PlayStation, and bing, bang, boom, that's the game. You have a game there. That's the game. It's complete. The game is complete. There's nothing else to it. But now we live in the era of instant downloading and of day one patches and microtransactions, and every single game, it seems, that comes out from the AAA gaming space has been carved up, cut up into tiny little bite-sized slivers that you have to pay $5 for. Do you want a cool skin? Do you want a color for your character? Do you want extra levels? Do you want DLC content? Do you want any of the content that would have actually shown up in the game in the first fucking place if this was any other era? Oh, I'm sorry. You have to spend money for that now. That's right. You've got to spend dollars for this if you want any of the content that we stripped out of this game. Oh, but you can enjoy the bones of the game. Don't worry. You can enjoy the bones of the game. How many games have been like this? Where it's just like you get a couple of missions or you get like a campaign, maybe, but then you need to buy like a battle pass. You need to buy a fucking season pass. You need to buy fucking levels and DLC and all this shit. You need to buy all the cosmetics. All the cosmetics are priced out. Or worse, you need to pay for loot boxes so that you can maybe get the item you want. Maybe if you're lucky, maybe. But most likely, you're going to be just wasting money on crap that you don't need, on bullshit that's not important, just so that these companies can scrape out an extra billion off of you. It's disgusting. I'm going to rant on this a bit. It's fucking disgusting. I fucking cannot stand it. I cannot stand it at all. And I speak from this as someone who is a gamer, someone who's a developer. It's abhorrent. I cannot fucking stand it. Yeah, microtransactions are the bane of the modern era of gaming. Back in the day, you used to have cheats, for example. You used to have cheat codes that you would be able to enter. And there were magazines and there were websites where they recorded the cheat codes, and you could go and you could just look it up. You just enter the cheat code, and suddenly, bam, you've got big head mode. Bam, you've got unlimited ammo. Bam, you've got unlimited lives. Bam, you've got unlocked levels. Bam, you've got unlocked characters. Now, oh, no. No more cheat codes. No. The cheat code is extra money. Give us money now. It's disgusting. It's abhorrent. It's greedy. It's absolutely greedy. It preys on people with issues with gambling. It preys on gamblers all the time. People who are trying to avoid gambling tend to get preyed on, especially by these companies, because they know that they can take advantage of them. Oh, hey, Sordior. Thanks for messaging us, putting something in the chat. Sordier says, here's my cheat code with an emoji of $signs. How you doing, Sordier? Hope you're having a great evening today. We're doing questions with Kahtide. If you have a question and you'd like to submit one to the question box and get it answered right away, you can spend chips or Oh, hey, thank you for the gift sub. Oh, shit. Thank you. Microtransaction complete. Holy shit. Well, Narantia1, I hope you appreciate that tier 1 sub. Thank you so much again, Sordio, for that. You're awesome. You're way too kind. Really, really appreciate that. If you have a question, by the way, Sordio, you want answered, do let me know and I'll answer that for you. Yeah. All right. But that's my answer for you. Biggest pet peeve in modern gaming is microtransactions. Yuck. Hate those. Let's see. We can move on to another question in our anonymous question box. Let's see. Ba-ba-doo-ba-ba. Oh, hello. Theo Otaku Nerd 9001 says, that's why I try to stick to single player games, mostly like God of War 2018 or something of sort. Yeah, totally. Unlike some AAA games, I will say, thankfully shy away from the microtransactions a lot. I do hear that God of War is pretty good in terms of that single player experience for sure. Things like or like From Software games, for example, tend to shy away from that as well. You don't see nearly as much of that being a problem with I think some of those other games. Yeah, thank you for joining the chat, Otaku Nerd. Glad to have you here. Sordior brings in an opinion. Though my opinion on in-game transactions, if it is new content like the new Smash characters that wasn't in the game originally, it is fine. Or if it is a free game and that is how they get money, okay too, as long as I get what I pay for. But random things for money, not a fan. Or to unlock the game I bought, lol. Exactly. Yeah. You're so super on that point. Sorry, I'm gonna harp on this point a bit more before we move on to other questions. But you're so right about that. Like, there is a free-to-play model. I think that's fair. Like, if you're playing a free-to-play game, and they say, hey, if you want to get other content, you want cosmetics that are special, you got to pay for it. That's fine. If I can play the game freely and just maybe pay $1 for a cosmetic that I don't actually need, and that's fine. I can maybe accept that. It's not my favorite thing in the world here, but it's acceptable. I understand you got to make your bills somehow in this economy. But if it's a game that I've already paid $60 or $70 or $80 for, and you're also asking me to buy the fucking season pass, pay for cosmetics, pay for loot boxes, that's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. It cannot be allowed to continue. I think it's disgusting. So yeah, that's my take, folks. Really, really unpleasant stuff. Really greedy stuff. Not my thing. Let's see. Let's move on to another question. Again, if you are interested in submitting a question, you can do so anonymously through the Google form in my link tree, or you can submit it via channel points or chips. Send in those questions. Let's see here. What other questions do we have to answer? I have a few in here. I'm just trying to find a good one. Oh, here. Do microplastics fill you with dread? What about nanoplastics? Now, I haven't heard about nanoplastics. I imagine they're just smaller microplastics. Do microplastics fill me with dread? I have to say I don't really think about them that much. I mean, obviously, not great. I don't love the fact that microplastics are in the environment. I think it's pretty awful to hear about, to see them, to have them be a presence. But frankly, they're so small and so ill talked about that I don't really think about them that often. Oh gosh, sorry. Sordier left a comment here, going back to our previous question. Just letting you know, just reading that off here. Sordier says, though I suppose it also brings up the question of how capitalism has basically set the price of games at $60, but some games are costing more and more to make. What is the value of a game, raising cost of living and the employee wages, etc.? The Otaku Nerd says, talking about cheat codes back in the day when DBZ BT3, you could get players by putting in codes. As for my favorite character, that's through codes. It would have to be Future Gohan. Oh, sorry, I'm kind of high. That's okay, Otaku Nerd. We are 420 friendly here. Don't even worry about being high. Also, Sordior says yum plastic. Absolutely yum plastic. This also goes back to the capitalism argument, so I'm glad that kind of we can thread these topics together. Video games and plastic, we can thread this together. Yeah, microplastics are awful because companies employ plastic too much. And companies are definitely responsible for the microplastic problem, just like they're responsible for the greed that causes us to have to pay for microtransactions to get things like cheat codes and characters unlocked. Capitalism is, of course, at the root of the problem. Socialism is the solution. We must embrace socialism if we want to remove microplastics from our environment and if we want to remove microtransactions from our video games. Yes, that's my take. I think personally, might be a little optimistic, and you can call me out on it, but I think that there are plenty of creatures on this beautiful green earth of ours that are actually already developing. Actually, this is true. There are plenty of bacteria, viruses, fungi that are able to actually consume plastic. So I do think that over time, if we actually stop pumping plastic into the environment, it will ebb away and things will start to remove that plastic over time. It, of course, helps that we can try and recycle some of it as well. I think that's important too. We should stop the consumption of plastic personally, I think. But I think that hopefully with time, those microplastics will fade out from the environment. Hopefully we can engineer even further some of these bacteria, some of this fungi to actually start to consume plastic and consume some of these oil byproducts. So I think there are things to be optimistic about, of course. But of course, it's not healthy for us to have these microplastics in our body. It's not healthy to eat effectively a credit card every month, you know? Sordier here says, or how they push the pressure of recycling on the populace when large corporations create more and choose to keep using the materials they use. They control what we buy, but make us feel bad for it. What's that line? Life finds a way. Yes, that is one of those lines. I would say life does find a way. But you are right, Sordier. They do push plastic on us. There are things we can do. There are biodegradable plastics. There are other materials we can wrap stuff in. Some things don't need to be wrapped in plastic, frankly. There was a long period, and I think it's still the case in some parts of the country, where Amazon was wrapping like tiny little pill bottles in gigantic, like big plastic wrapping and sending that off instead of sending them into smaller packaging. You know? Oh shit. The Otaku Nerd says, BTW, I followed, just so you know. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that so much, Otaku Nerd. Welcome to the community, and welcome other people to the community, by the way. I was going to mention this. I haven't had a chance to do it, but V Magor and Mr. Knight 3358 followed as well yesterday. And just now, the Otaku Nerd did follow 2 minutes ago. Thank you so much for the follows, everybody. Really do appreciate that. Your follows mean a lot to me. And the more that people join in and share some of the content here that we're doing, the more content I can do for you. So thank you again for that follow. Really do appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. I think we'll finish up just a little early on this show, but I think I have time for one more question here. Let's see here. What's a good question we can do here to finish the stream off right? Oh gosh. Okay, here we go. This is a fun one. I like this one. I think it's a good little personal one that I can end on. We have an anonymous question asker who asks, what are your favorite kinds of music? Do you have any artists that you like or even admire? Yeah, I would say it's been, let's see here. So I would say that my relationship to music over the past few years has been pretty complicated. I've been kind of through a lot of, I won't say too much about what I've been through because I want to keep a few things close to the chest, but I have been through the ringer a bit in terms of my emotional outlook and my emotional state, thanks to different people in my life that just weren't the best for me. So kind of during that period, I kind of stopped listening to a lot of music. I just felt like I got too overwhelmed. My headspace was not great for listening to music. I kind of was just in my own head for a bit. So I kind of dropped out of listening to music regularly, and I've been getting more back into it with time. And so I've actually been listening to a lot more music lately, especially while I've been like working on video game development stuff. My favorite artist, I would say, is Lone, Lone. Go check out Lone. He's a prolific electronic artist. Does a lot of drum and bass, jungle, like shit like that. A lot of good like UK house shit. Very, very awesome music. Some recent stuff has been coming out over the past few weeks. If you want to listen to some good songs, one of them is called Triton, Triton. Triton. Waterfall Reverse is also the other song that came out recently off of a new single for Alone. Awesome music. Definitely highly encourage you check that out. Other things I've been checking out have been like I've been getting back into like some city pop stuff. So who's somebody I was listening to recently? Toshiki Kadomatsu. One of my favorite albums of his is Legacy of You it's a 1990 album. Very, very good, very jazzy, very fun. A lot of acid jazz influence, I would say. That's one thing I really, really love is like acid jazz and stuff like that too. God, who else have I been listening to a lot? I mean, obviously I could say like Yasuno what's his face? Oh God, what is his fucking face? What is that guy's name? Tatsuro Yamashita. Yes, Tatsuro Yamashita, other fantastic city pop singer. Love his music. Big Wave. If you have a chance to go listen to Big Wave, go check that out. Magic Ways is one of my favorite songs off of that album. Really, really, really good. What else do I like? Shoegaze. Shoegaze is a big thing I like a lot. What have I been re-listening to? Lush. If you've heard of Lush before, I've been re-listening to their album Spooky. Really, really good album. Fantastic album. Lush is a great band. What else? Kakuto Twins is really good too. I've been listening to Heaven or Las Vegas. Heaven or Las Vegas. Really, really good. I love that one too. Oh gosh, what else? I mean, stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that. I love electronic. I love shoegaze. I love like, city pop. I love I don't know, crazy cool stuff like that. All kinds of shit like that. Yeah, those are my musical recommendations. Obviously, I could also recommend some of my own music. For I'll plug a little bit. For my video game project Salve, Salve. Check out salvedevelopment.com, Salve development.com. There's actually a reward tier for patrons for my game. I have made a bunch of music for the upcoming alpha version of my game. And if you want to check out some of that music, if you want to see what it sounds like, there's actually a preview on YouTube as well, I think, if you want to check that out on the Salve Development YouTube page. But that is a free download for patrons. So if you want to actually help support the game and you want to get some free music out of it, go check it out. Not only will you get the free download for what's out already, but you're going to get free music for the game itself. So once the full soundtrack is complete, you get a free copy of that as well. So please check it out. It's really, really awesome. There's actually going to be a new song getting added to the alpha probably this month because I just finished one recently. And let me tell you, I could probably, you know what? I'm going to close out. That's what I'll do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close out the stream today by playing that for you. I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's really awesome. It's called what is it? What do they call it? Talas Crossroads is the name of the song. So if you want to listen to that, if you want to check it out, stay tuned. We'll finish up this stream here and we'll play us out with that song. But yeah, I make my own music too. I love making electronic music, and I made a bunch for this game, and I'm going to be making even more. So go check out Salve Development. And I think that's where we'll leave it off. I'm going to shout out a couple more things. Go check out social media. I've got a few things there, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, all those places. Check me out. YouTube as well. Check me out there. Shouts out to our live audience, to our Spotify listeners, to our VOD enjoyers. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, check me out on all those places as well. We are up on Spotify if you want to listen to this later. We are up on YouTube if you want to watch the VODs and check out the clips. And yeah, thank you, everybody who submitted anonymous questions. If you want to submit a question as well, and you want to get it answered on stream, you can submit channel points in the future. So do tune in next Sunday. Actually, it's not next Sunday. I'm taking a break next Sunday and Saturday. Normally, I stream Saturday and Sunday at 12 p.m. But next week, since it's the holidays, I am taking a break. We'll tune in the next time. The next week, I think. That what we'll do? Let's see. What's our next weekend? Oh gosh, next weekend is New Year's. It's New Year's, so maybe we will tune in. Who knows? I don't know. check out the social media updates. I'll let you know. Definitely going to take a week off though next weekend. So yeah, just stay in touch. Thank you for the applause, Sorter. I appreciate you. You're very sweet. But yeah, that's everything we have here. Thank you everybody who tuned in, who checked out the news. If you don't hear from me by the start of next year, have a great year, everybody. Really do appreciate you being here. It's been a fantastic year. We've gotten a lot of work done. We've achieved a lot, and I can only imagine we'll achieve even more next year. So with that, I'll say have a good one. Big Booming Voice, do we have anything we want to say before we go?
This is the Big Booming Voice, letting you know to follow and subscribe to Kahtide.
Thank you for that reminder, Big Booming Voice. And I think we'll say goodbye there. All right? Thank you so much, everybody. Talk to you later.
Well, looks like that's our show, folks. Until next time.
And here comes that track.